All right, welcome to this video. Long overdue. It's been a long while since I demonstrated how to install the DPHX Unpack and Load tool. It has evolved a lot in with the time, and now the tool integrates even more with WeSimGlide, and it integrates with the other two tools that are kind of required when you do soaring in Microsoft Flight Simulator, which are the NB21 Logger to record your IGC files, track logs, and also the SSC-Tracker, which tracks your flight, and you can see all the other airplanes on a map, and it has a VR panel and has a lot of features. So the DPHX Unpack and Load interacts with these two tools. So it's the kind of the hub that talks and sends the information, can send the information to the other two tools. Okay, so what this means is it means less file manipulation, less file download, less manual file download and handling, dragging and dropping. Everything can be done with the DPHX Unpack and Load, and everything can be done also through WeSimGlide, but we'll cover that in other videos. Right now, let's just start from scratch. I'm on a virtual machine here where I have nothing. I don't even have Microsoft Flight Simulator. I only have a simulation of a virtual flight sim folders that are installed in this machine. But I wanted to show you from scratch what you need to start with to install these three tools automatically. You don't need to download them all. You can only download the DPHX Unpack and Load. It is on flightsim.to. I will be putting links on the description to it. But yeah, you only need to download this one. So let's start. Preparation, what I do is we're going to create, I already created actually. I have a soaring tools under C I created here. I'm going to recreate it. Okay. I'm going to delete it, and I'm going to do here, right click, and I'm going to new folder. You can put it anywhere. I like to put it somewhere I can find it easily. So I'm going to call it like soaring tools. You can name it whatever you want. Then I open it, and it is important. These tools can be detected. They are false positives in the antivirus world. So what I like to do, I know what I'm going to be putting in my soaring tools folder. So what I like to do next is go into Defender. Okay, this one, I don't have any other antivirus, but you can find it in your antivirus. If it's Defender, fine, you're going to do exactly what I'm going to do. But if it's Bitdefender or anything else, all the antivirus allow you to put exclusion, to add exclusion in them. So Windows security, I click on this. I go into virus and threat protection, not scan now. Yeah, doesn't matter. I go into the manage settings under virus and threat protection. And then down below, you'll see exclusions here. So you want to click here to add or remove exclusions. It's going to ask you if you want to allow it. You click yes, and you see I don't have any exclusion right now, so I'm going to add an exclusion as a folder. What you want is the entire folder and what it will contain as exclusions. I click folder, then I'm going to go select the folder that I just created here, soaring tools. Select folder. If you download them from the safe locations, they are all right. So you can close the Windows security. Now I have downloaded already the zip file containing DPHX. I'm gonna open this. So you see all the content. What you want to do is select all and just drag and drop them. That's probably the only drag and drop we're going to ever do anymore once you've installed that. So you're copying all the files, unzipping them in the soaring tools folder. Now you have all the files. You can close the zip file and you don't really need it anymore. Okay. What I like to do is also sort them by the date modified, so I always see the most latest files that are here. and you see a few files here down. So the next thing we want to do after doing that is do the run me first. See, there's a batch file here, run me first. You just right click, either you can double click on the file or you right click and do open. So it will start a little batch file, which ensures that it runs the listener the first time. And sometimes when you run this, the listener is this little tool here. Okay, WeSimGlide DPHX Listener. This tool is the one that allows communication with WeSimGlide, the website WeSimGlide. We'll talk about it later, but where you have tons of tasks and the group events are there. That's where you're going to download the task that you want to download, and it will talk directly to this tool, the DPHX tool. So this one, it launches it. Sometimes on some systems, you will have the Windows SmartScreen prompt coming up that will ask you to confirm that you want to allow it through. Okay, allow the application through. I think it didn't come up here, but sometimes it does. You do like more info, run anyway, and it's gonna run. And if you see it in your tray bar, then it's fine. You will have this message here. You can close this window, and automatically it will have also launched the DPHX tool for the first time. The first time it launches it, it brings you to the settings page, and it's only the first part of the settings. And then some parts are grayed out. What you have here are folders that have already been set for you, and it's all like temporary folder for unpacking, where you are going to download the DPHX packages. Okay, that's all. You could customize them, but you don't need to. What is required of you the very first time is only to specify which MSFS installations you have. You can have both. On my system here, I just have a dummy 2024. So you select 2024 here, and you will select, is it a Steam or the Microsoft Store version? For me, I've selected the Microsoft Store version. Like again, you could also select the 2020 if you have both, no problem. And then you click detect folders here, this little button. There you go. It has detected where the flight plan should go and where the weather preset should go. If you want, you can even, but these are you don't have to go look for them or put in there manually in the tools. It can detect them, and that's all right. It's the only things you have to do. Then you click OK. The first time is the initial setup. That's the only thing you want to do. That's the only thing you can do for the initial setup. All right. Once you've done that, you can go back into settings. Now everything is available. This video will concentrate on installing the NB21 Logger and the tracker directly from the tool. You don't have to download them. It's already here. Install and install. However, to do that, like if I click right now on this one, it's telling me that I need to be logged in on WeSimGlide before installing the NB21 Logger. Why is that? All four, the WeSimGlide, DPHX, the NB21 Logger, and the SSC-Tracker, they all use two information that must be the same, that should all be the same. So what we're going to do is we're going to launch the WeSimGlide. What you can do is click OK, and you have access here to various part of the WeSimGlide. You see it says click to open WeSimGlide homepage. We're going to click it, and it's going to bring me to my browser onto WeSimGlide. I'm not going to cover much on WeSimGlide right here. I've already logged in. When you want to log in to WeSimGlide, you click this little icon there. It would be red. Sorry, it would be red if I was logged out. I am currently logged in as myself. It's green. But just to send the information to the DPHX, you just need to make sure that you are logged in. If I wouldn't be, it would be red, and I would have a login. It logs with Discord. So doing so with Discord, it will bring you to an authentication page. Well, let's do that actually. Okay, I'm going to log out. I'm going to show you. So you see it's red now. and I have a login with Discord. I can click on this, and this will bring me to this page here. Sometimes you'll get a QR code or some kind of authentication that you need to do with your mobile app. Just follow the instructions. Make sure that you are on the right account. Sometimes it tries to create a new account, so make sure that it is your account. Major Dad here, that's my avatar. So I scroll down and I click authorize. This only gives you like the authorization from Discord to be authenticated through Discord on the website. I'm not getting any information from Discord from that. Okay, apart from your avatar and your username, Major Dad. Okay, so what's important now? If you are already logged in, you can just do a refresh and it will send the information. What is important is that the pilot name and the pilot ID be set. Okay, pilot name is your name. You can put anything you want, usually the Discord or the tag that you have in Microsoft Flight Sim or Discord. Sometimes it's the same, but pick something. And the pilot ID is like 4 letters, 5 maximum, abbreviation of your pilot name or something that you want to use, but usually you keep it short. Okay, so you need that. You just do that. You save. Okay, it updates, and like I said, just by doing a refresh of that, make sure that it is you are logged in. It's enough. It has already sent the information to the DPHX. So if we go back now to settings, I'm going to close this. It's in the way, and we try again to install the NB21. See, now it knows I am connected, so it asks me if I want to download and configure the NB21 Logger. Of course, I say yes, and you let it go. Now, the first time you install these tools, they communicate with a network. Okay, they can communicate with the outside. So the Windows firewall will probably, again, Windows firewall, if you have Defender, the basic firewall is going to come up like this. If it's another solution that you have as firewall, it will come up differently, but you still have to allow the NB21 Logger to access the public and the private networks. So you say allow. Okay. Now you see it has launched it and it has enabled it. It has all the information set for it. And if I go into the settings, it has reused already my pilot name and pilot ID. And the track logs is already something that I know about here. So nothing to set. It is completely, trouble-free. You can close this here. We can do the same thing with the tracker. We can click the install here. Yes, I want to install the tracker app. This one is a little bit longer. You have to let it go. You're gonna get the same prompt because this one also communicates. So again, you click allow, and you see the tracker is running. It has the same name, the same pilot ID, and the settings for the shared plan and stuff has already been set. All right. So everything has been set. I'm not going to cover the tool itself. You can have a bunch of other settings to set there. I'm not covering this in this video right now. I'm just covering the installation and the initial setup so that both DPHX and the logger and the tracker are set and can communicate with each other. Now you can also set up these here. Do you want to auto unpack when you download open a DPHX file? Do you a soaring task file? Do you want to auto unpack it? Launch it, send it to the logger, send it to the tracker, send it to a Microsoft Flight Simulator so it's ready to fly. This is the fastest way, of course. The WeSimGlide integration. When you start the tool, the DPHX Unpack? Do you want the to auto open the home tab? Usually I select that, the home tab. But if I'm in the process of opening a DPHX file, then I want to ignore the opening. I don't want to open it again. Okay, and that's it. That's the only thing. XCSOR, if you know about it, you're going to know what to do. If you don't know, you don't bother with it. Everything else, you stay the same and you click OK and you're all set. And we'll see you next time on the, oh, no, I'm forgetting something. In the settings, you see now that the install buttons have are now saying launch. It's because at any time, if you have a doubt, you can come back to the settings and just click on the launch button to launch the logger and see that it is correctly set. And the same thing here, you can launch the tracker from there to see that it communicates, it sees the stuff. It's a little long and it is working. Okay, but you won't have to do that manually, because when you're going to unpack a task, it will launch everything for you. Okay, this is the pretty neat. All right, so that covers the first part of these videos. That's the installation, easiest way of installing the DPHX with the NB21 Logger and the SSC-Tracker. Okay, guys, so I was kind of ready to publish the video, but I realized that there was several things that I had forgotten to talk about, so I decided to wait until I could make this extension video, plug it into this one that you are watching, and then publish it. So yeah, several things. First thing, I kind of forgot that you should have a shortcut on somewhere on your desktop or where you want to launch the application. That's easy to do. We're going to go into File Explorer, and you remember we created a folder here, Soaring Tools. Might depends, you may not have created exactly the same thing, but where we unzipped all the files from the zip file, they are all here. So the one you want to look for is this one, DPHX Unpack and Load. This is the main app. So you want to have it handy somewhere. What I like to do is simply either I think right click, I think you can create a shortcut, more options maybe. I'm not seeing it. You can pin it to start. Of course, you could pin to start, so you'd have it in the start menu. That's something. Pin to taskbar too. It would pin it. I can do it like this. So I have now the tool on my toolbar. If I do this and I say pin to start, then it means that in my start menu, it will also be handy somewhere like here in the pinned app here. Or if I wanted to on my desktop, then I can simply like right click, drag, with the right mouse button, I right click and drag it to my desktop. I release the button and then it says create shortcut here. So that's easy. It creates a shortcut here, which you can also rename and just DPHX, for example. So it's handy, it's right there and easy to access. Okay, there are several ways, but yeah, you should definitely have some kind of a way to launch it easily. Second thing that I completely forgot about is if you have a trouble with, you remember when I said that you were installing the NB21 Logger or the SSC-Tracker app, that you would get firewall prompts to allow the apps through. If you cancel that, if you don't see it, there's probably a problem, and I'm going to show you how you can go by doing a search, and then you click you write firewall. So in my case, it's Windows defined the firewall. I'm going to go in there. Might be different for you if you use a different firewall, but it will be kind of the same thing where you want to see all the inbound rules, and you'll see at the top the ones that you added. All the other ones are kind of Microsoft stuff, but the ones that the user added are here. So you see I have NB21 Logger and SSC-Tracker. There are several of them because I think it separates UTC from TCP. It's pretty technical, but if you have entries here and it still doesn't work, you can can, it might say here, enable no, okay? For example, the easiest way to deal with that is to simply select them and delete the whole thing, okay? So by doing this, the next time you'll run the applications, you will get asked again. So let's go into the tool here, and remember we have now under settings, we now have the launch right here. So, okay, of course, my integration works. It launches also WeSimGlide. Remember, this is here, auto open home tab. This is exactly what it did. Yeah, so let's try NB21 first, launch. And there, you see now you have the prompt for the firewall, sorry, for NB21 Logger. Then I click allow here. I can close this one, and I'm going to do the same thing with the tracker, launch. And I get the same prompt. I say allow E also, and then I can close it. And if I go back to my defender, my firewall, again, launch it here, we go into inbound rules. There they are again, and enabled. Yeah, so that's the fastest way, to do a cleanup and relaunch them and make sure that you have allowed these apps through your firewall. Okay, once it's done, it shouldn't cause any problem now. So that was firewall issues. Now there are stuff that we forgot to talk about here. The auto start for the DPHX, the WeSimGlide DPHX listener. Remember, the listener is the little tool that runs in the background, and it's the one that will intercept calls from WeSimGlide website when you download tasks. So of course, you're not running the DPHX all the time, but the listener should really be running all the time on your gaming PC. If you are a fan of Flight Simulator and you fly a lot, then yeah, just select auto start here, and every time you start the computer, the WeSimGlide will keep running. If you don't, when you quit the app, the listener also falls. The listener also ends with the tools. Let's look at it. Okay, I disable it, so I click OK. Now it's running. Okay, but if I quit DPHX, it's not. It ends the listener too. Okay, if I go back and I go back to settings, it's gonna launch my integration again, of course, because I told him to do so. Now if I click auto start, click OK, and then shut it down again, you'll see it keeps running. And if you close Windows, if you restart Windows, shut down your computer, restart, it will launch the listener again. And from the listener, you can right click it, and from there you can access the several pages on WeSimGlide. You can also open the Unpack and Load from there instead of the start or the desktop shortcut. It's going to do the same thing, and again it launches my integration with WeSimGlide. So I'm gonna close all these here. Okay, so that's another thing that is really important. If you want the quickest way and easiest way, just fire and forget, then launch this, enable this here. All right, so talking about WeSimGlide listener, there's another thing that I forgot to tell you about. Well, actually I discovered it after the recording. Even though we have in the procedure, the first time you run it, you run the little batch file, run me first time. I think in some cases it won't be enough, and you might end up with an error when you launch DPHX Unpack and Load the first time. You might end up with errors that look like this: error launching listener, could not start, blah blah blah, and it was canceled by the user. But you're gonna get that. You close the application, you will launch it, you get it again. That is because it is getting blocked by the SmartScreen prompt that I talked about in the video. So if you're not getting the SmartScreen, but you are getting these constant errors when you launch the tool, the only real way to solve this is to actually run it manually. So what you do is you close the DPHX. Okay, it shouldn't be running at this point, so it would be like this. You wouldn't see the listener running, and then you come down into the folder where you have all the files. You find the listener, and you run it manually yourself, either by double clicking on it or right clicking and saying open. Now, I'm not getting the SmartScreen because on my computer it works, but this is the way manually that you're going to get the SmartScreen, that you're going to be able to allow the app to run anyway, and then you shouldn't get any trouble with the error message anymore. It should be fine. That's how we solved it for people who had that. Okay, so that's the way to solve the error for the listener. And one last thing, I think, one last thing is I said that when you are, before you can install NB21 and the tracker, when it says install, I said you have to be logged on to WeSimGlide, right? Let's go back, WeSimGlide. And I explained that to do that, you needed to go here, and maybe you're already logged in, maybe you're not, you logged in, and the simply refreshing should be enough to activate the install here, and you don't have any and get rid of the message that says to log in. Some users again discovered that F5 or refresh was not enough. They had to do Control F5 or Shift or Control, do both. Shift F5, do Control F5. This will reset the cookies and stuff like that. And this should then allow you to go into settings and install the logger and the tracker. Okay, that's it. It's a very specific situation. I'm not saying it will always do that. A simple refresh can do the trick, but like I said, again, Control F5, Shift F5, it will make sure that you get the information. I think that's it. It was a very small video, but it was to complement all the first one. So I'm gonna merge all of that, and we'll see you later. Safe flying, guys. Bye bye. Thank you for watching again.